Okay, let's be real. You're probably watching this over Wi-Fi right now. And have you ever stopped to think about how just wild that is? Data just flying through the air to your screen. It feels like pure magic, right? Well, it's not. It's actually this incredible dance between physics and some seriously clever engineering. So, let's pull back the curtain. I mean, really think about it. How does that little box sitting in your living room, the one with all the blinking lights, take the internet, which we usually picture as data zipping through physical cables, and just spray it through the air, through walls even? How does it get right to the device in your hands? That is the big question, and we are going to crack it wide open.
All right, so first things first. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, we've got to understand what this invisible connection is even made of. It all comes down to a really simple but totally game-changing idea that let us finally cut the cord.
So, at its most basic level, Wi-Fi, which stands for wireless fidelity by the way, is just a clever way to swap data using radio waves. Think about it like this. Instead of pushing little bits of electricity, actual electrons, down a copper pipe, your router is basically a translator. It takes all that digital information and converts it into invisible waves that it broadcasts through the air.
Okay, now we're getting to the really mind-bending part. How in the world do you take the language of computers, all those ones and zeros, the bits and bytes, and actually encode that onto a physical wave that can just travel through your house?
Well, what's wild is that these aren't some weird, mysterious signals. Wi-Fi actually uses electromagnetic waves. Yeah, the same family of waves that includes the radio in your car, the microwaves that heat your food, and even the light you're seeing with right now. So your Wi-Fi signal, it's literally a close cousin to sunlight. Kinda cool, right?
So, here's the secret sauce. The key to embedding all that digital data onto an old-school analog wave is a process called modulation. It's a fancy word, but the idea is simple. You start with a really basic, predictable wave. They call it the carrier wave. And then you just start tweaking it, changing it in very precise ways to represent all those ones and zeros.
And there are basically three main ways you can do this tweaking. You can change the wave's height, its amplitude. That's pretty much what AM radio does. Or you can change how fast the wave wiggles, its frequency. Yep, just like FM radio. And finally, you can mess with its timing, shifting it forward or backward a little. That's called the phase. The analogy here is perfect. It's like using your voice. You can get louder or softer, change your pitch, or mess with the rhythm to get your message across.
But here's the thing. Modern Wi-Fi is way too smart to just pick one of those. No. It uses a super sophisticated technique called QAM. That's quadrature amplitude modulation, which basically combines changes in both the height and the timing of the wave at the exact same time. By doing two things at once, it can cram an absolutely insane amount of information into every single little ripple of that wave.
Okay, so understanding the science is one thing, but turning that science into the blazing fast, super reliable Wi-Fi we can't live without today, well, that took some next-level engineering genius.
Okay, now this explains something you've almost certainly run into. You ever wonder why your Wi-Fi is great in the living room, but kinda dodgy in the bedroom? It's probably because of this. Most routers broadcast on two frequencies, 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. The 5 GHz is way faster, but it has a shorter range and it's not great at punching through walls. The older 2.4 GHz is slower, but it goes farther. It's a classic trade-off. Do you want speed or do you want range?
And hey, remember that QAM trick we just mentioned? Get this. The latest Wi-Fi can use something called 1024 QAM. What that means is that every single tiny little wiggle in that radio wave is carrying 10 bits of data. 10 ones and zeros. That's just an unbelievable amount of information packed into an invisible wave, all zipping through the air. So, the next question is, how do you get even more speed when the airwaves are already so crowded? Simple. You use more antennas. This is a technology called MIMO, multiple input, multiple output. It lets your router send and receive several different streams of data all at once on the very same frequency. It's like turning a single-lane road into a multi-lane superhighway instantly.
So what's the bottom line for you? Well, all those antennas mean you get faster speeds, for sure, but it also gives you a much more stable, reliable connection. And even cooler, some routers use those antennas for something called beamforming. They can actually detect where your phone or laptop is and focus the Wi-Fi signal like a laser beam directly at your device, instead of just wasting energy blasting it out in all directions.
Now, you can imagine, with all your devices, your neighbors' devices, all of them shouting into the air at the same time, things could get really chaotic really fast. It'd be like everyone yelling in a crowded room. That's why Wi-Fi has a really strict set of rules to make sure the whole conversation stays orderly, reliable, and most importantly, private. Before a single bit of your data gets sent, your device and the router have to do this quick little digital handshake. It's pretty polite, actually. Your phone scans for the network, you put in the password to prove you're allowed in, and then they quickly agree on all the ground rules for their conversation, like which frequency to use and how they'll encode the data. Only then does the real data transfer begin. And to stop all the devices from talking over each other, Wi-Fi has a very simple, very polite rule. Listen before you speak. Seriously. Before a device sends anything, it first listens to make sure the coast is clear. And for those times when a little bit of data does get messed up by, say, your microwave, they've planned for that too. They add extra little bits of information that help the receiving device automatically fix any small errors.
And of course, the big one, security. You don't want your neighbors or anyone else eavesdropping on your internet traffic. That's where encryption comes in. Using strong protocols like WPA3, everything you send over Wi-Fi is scrambled into complete nonsense before it even leaves your device. Think of it like a secret code. Only your device and your router have the special key to unscramble it and turn it back into real information.
All right, let's just take a step back for a second and appreciate how this technology has totally changed, well, everything. It went from being this quirky convenience for a few people to being the absolute invisible backbone of our entire modern world. The journey of Wi-Fi is nothing short of extraordinary.
I mean, just look at these numbers. The pace of change here is just staggering. Back in 1999, you were lucky to get 11 megabits per second. Now, with Wi-Fi 7, we're talking about speeds over 40 gigabits per second. We've gone from speeds that struggled to load a basic web page to speeds that are almost faster than you can even imagine. It's just, wow.
It's so easy to just see that little fan-shaped icon on your screen and not think twice about it. But the next time you connect, just take a second to remember everything that's happening behind the scenes. It's literally decades of brilliant breakthroughs in physics, in coding, in networking engineering, all coming together in that one perfect, seamless moment. And really, this says it all. What's happening in the air all around you right this second is this beautiful, complex, and totally invisible symphony. It's a constant dance of electrons and waves and packets of data, all working together to connect us to each other and to the world. So there you have it. Wi-Fi solved one of the biggest challenges of the early internet. How do we connect everything without being tied down by a cable? But now that we're basically there, with super fast wireless pretty much everywhere, it leaves you wondering, right? Now that everything is connected, what's the next big thing we're going to build?